Spotlight with Shadow, a Canadian dad who's got his finger on the pulse of global entertainment and sports. Each episode features unfiltered conversations with everyday creatives, musicians, wrestlers, filmmakers, and more from every corner of the globe. No fluff, just raw, real stories. This is Spotlight with Shadow, presented by Off the Top Media.
What is going on, guys? My name is Shadow. Welcome to another episode of Spotlight with Shadow. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce my guest tonight, who is making waves across the digital ocean, being a part of the Familia as their social media manager. She goes by 216 BeanieeBaii, aka Ebbi. How are you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. I am really excited to sit down and talk to you. I enjoy what you guys are producing over on the Familia channel. Got some good friends over there now, and it's an honor to sit down with you guys and chat. So let's get into it. What is the early beginnings of Ebbi, aka 216 BeanieeBaii?
Oh my God. The early beginning. How far back do you want to go? Are we
You go back as far as you want.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, I feel like on the surface, like I very much so had like a very normal childhood. Like I was kind of quiet. Like I didn't really say too much of anything. Then I kind of went through a stage about like 5th grade to like 8th grade-ish to where like I didn't say anything. Everybody thought something was wrong with me. I didn't speak. I was a selective mute.
Okay.
A lot of it rooted from like anxiety because I was just always a naturally like anxious child. Before starting school, I had a stay-at-home dad. So I was very, very attached to my parents, like unhealthily attached to my parents. So by the time we got to the point of like me going to school and stuff, I was just like, don't want to be here, kind of don't like these people, want to do my work, go home and be with my people. Like I was that child that like, oh, if your dad was my dad was 5 minutes late picking me up, I was bawling. I was standing in the corner crying. And like even in daycare, my parents tried like 3 times to put me in daycare. It never worked out. I wouldn't play with the other kids. I'd be upset. Like probably the longest time that I lasted in daycare was probably about 2 to 3 weeks. It didn't go well. But I want to say probably around like that 8th grade period, something clicked one day. Something just clicked one day. And I'm just like, you know what? I can talk to somebody other than my teachers. I can actually like make friends, talk to people. And I raised my hand to answer a question one day because everybody in my class was getting it wrong. And it was just driving me insane. So I answered the question and a kid in the classroom, he went, yo, dark skin talks. And from that point on, like I've always told people from that point on, I've never shut up. You'll never get a quiet moment out of me. I'm always saying something. I'm pretty sure the rest of the Familia will tell you. A lot of times I'm the first person typing in the group chat. If it's not Chrissy, it's me. I'm the last person typing in the group chat at night usually. Like I haven't been quiet since. And I'm pretty sure my fiance sometimes would wish that I would just shut up. But it's not going to happen, and he knows what he signed up for. And in school, like I played basketball. I played volleyball for a bit. I did the nerdiest thing possible. I did like the biggest bully magnet thing that you could do. And I was president of the anti-bullying committee. I did I decided I was going to go get the biggest bully magnet possible. But like it was something that I was very passionate about and I was very hardcore about. I always wanted to be a teacher and I went to college to be a teacher and COVID hit probably like it was my freshman year. And we did all the online classes. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. This is not great. I don't like this. So I left school, and they did this new thing in Ohio to where you can apply, like if a school feels as if you meet their needs and what they need, you can apply for a teacher's license without a degree. So I did that, and I taught for a few years. And then when I was 20, my mom passed away. So I took some time off of work because I'm like, I need to get my mental health right. And I started back working in childcare after that. And I got into content creating because my therapist was like, yo, you need a hobby. You quit all your other hobbies. You need a hobby. Like, I used to dance. I didn't do that anymore because I had some really bad knee injuries. I used to sing. I'm classically trained, but as getting older, my voice dropped like an entire octave. And it is very hard navigating. Like, usually, like if you see me in TikTok lives and stuff, I pitch up a lot because how deep my voice is now, it's something that I'm still learning to feel secure in and confident in. And even sometimes, like, even now, I'm subconsciously pitching up a bit. Like, the only time it turns off is when I'm dead tired. But that is where I am now, essentially, doing stuff with the Familia, with content creation. I go back and forth between talking about politics, talking about wrestling, pop culture, anything in between. Whatever piques my interest, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, I won't get into that political debate with you. That's definitely something I won't do. I stay away from that stuff mainly because
I understand.
I'm a lot. I wouldn't say heavily educated in that, but like I pay attention enough to understand what I'm talking about. And for the most part, a lot of people don't like that, so I don't bring it up.
I completely understand. For a year, what I did teach was government. I taught government, and high school students are wild. First of all, high school students are wild, especially when you're in your early 20s. They gotta look at you like you're not an authority. You're not authority to them.
You're just a homie that's in class teaching them.
You're just the homie who gets to sit at the desk at that point. But yeah, I try not to get into like the political debates with people. It never goes well.
Political and religious, I will not do.
Nope. Won't touch religious debate with a 10-foot pole.
Now, I know you as Ebbi. Is that your actual name? You don't have to disclose your actual name if that isn't your actual name, but that is your actual name.
Ebbi is short for Ebony.
Ebony, okay.
Yes.
Like an ebony kind of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, obviously, you just went through a rebranding recently.
Yes, I did.
You were Bonnet.
I was 216 Bonnet bitch.
That's what it was. I didn't, yeah. Yeah. Why the change?
I decided that we decided as the group, the Familia, that we were really going to take this seriously. And really try to push boundaries. And I knew that if we were going to do that, that I probably need to switch to something that's
sponsor friendly.
Excuse the pun, Familia friendly.
Right.
Because we have Richie. I've done a guest spot on Richie Mars's podcast, and Richie doesn't say bad words. So we got to like an awkward point where like he was introducing me and he went to say my handle and he's like, and I'm like, that was it. That was right there. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm like, something has to change for this to work because I can't be doing guest spots and it be in this like extremely professional setting. Right. And people can't say my entire handle. So something has to change. I crochet and I crochet beanies. And a friend of mine, her mom crochets a lot of beanies and stuff for me because I love them. So I'm like, I like this. I like this. Plus, it's like a play on Beanie Babies. And who
I mean,
doesn't love
until you
Beanie
just
Babies?
said that, I literally thought that that's what it was the Beanie Babies.
Like, who doesn't love Beanie Babies? They're so cute. And I'm like a stuffed animal junkie. Like, it's a problem. I could fill up a room
My daughter
with
would
my
love you
stuffed
then.
animals. I'm obsessed. So I'm
She's
like, this is very fitting. I even texted the group chat, the Familia group chat, and I'm like, so I'm thinking about changing it. What do you guys think of this? And everybody's like, that's dope. You should definitely do that. And I'm like, all right, perfect. This is it. This is what we're gonna do. So the wonderful BC Brian, who does all of almost most of our logos, all of the t-shirt designs and creations. He put this logo together for me while we were on live literally last week. And he sent it to me. He's like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, he's
It's
definitely a
perfect.
talented person. I enjoy
Gifted.
seeing some. I went through you guys' shop the other day, and I'm like, God damn, I gotta buy some stuff, but I'm like, I'm kind of broke.
Gifted. Yeah.
So I'm gonna call you out here. Your on-screen name currently is spelt wrong. Judging by your
Is
logo, it is spelt
Oh
wrong.
my God, it is. I was typing it really fast.
I was looking at as you were explaining. I'm like looking. I'm
It's
looking. I'm
supposed
looking.
to be 2 I's instead of 2 B's.
I was like, that doesn't look right. But
I did. I typed it wrong.
okay, so your interests. We'll save the wrestling conversation for a little bit down the conversation here. Other than wrestling and politics, what are some of your interests that you on your downtime do? Because you're a busy content creator, you're busy handling social media and stuff. So on your downtime, even just with your fiance, what do you guys like to do? What do you like to do?
We are both very heavily into music and reading. Music is my life. There isn't at any point downtime that I have where I'm not listening to music, really. And if I'm not listening to music, I'm either reading a book or I'm painting. Um, I have a thing. I really like sci-fi novels. Or fantasy novels. I am a huge, huge Potterhead. Like Harry Potter is my thing. It's been my thing since I was a kid. Just not meaning to age you at all. The first Harry Potter movie came out the year I was born. So it's been me and Harry Potter like this for a really long time. It's been my entire life.
It's like the second time this has happened in these interviews where someone's aged me like this, and it's like, thanks. Oh, good. I don't take offense. Don't worry.
That feels it all the time. Like anytime they start talking about like what they were doing in high school and blah 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 blah.
You're just like, I was in diapers. What's up?
Yeah, like we were talking about it not too long ago, and they were like, somebody asked like, what year did you guys graduate? And they're like, well, like 08 and 09, 2011, and I'm like 2019.
Yeah.
And Brian's like, you know what? Fuck you.
Yeah.
You can leave the group chat right now.
Shit. 2019, I was on Kid 3 by then.
Yeah.
Like, damn. Now, this is a great segue because you brought up music.
Oh boy.
Most recently, Linkin Park has made a comeback, and I told you I was going to tackle this with you.
You did tell me.
I did, because the way I got a reaction out of you most recently. So, Linkin Park has come back. There's a new singer, a new drummer, and potentially a new guitarist because they've now taken a break. What is your thoughts on it?
admire that they went the route of getting a female vocalist. I do truly. It feels going the route of getting a female lead vocalist feels more like honoring Chester than trying to replace him. But they could have picked someone. Don't get me wrong, she sounds good on some things. I don't like how she sounds singing Numb. That's a no for me. I'll pass.
I'll cut you off for 1 second before you continue.
Go for it.
I think what we're gonna see once the new album releases, they'll move a little bit away from the older tracks, and there'll be an occasional pop up as a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
And they'll move into their music.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of, I think that's what they're seeing now so far.
I think that's best, no matter who the new lead vocalist was going to be. Like I said, I'm down with the change, but they could have definitely picked someone who isn't a Scientologist.
There it is.
And a Danny Masterson supporter.
So I will cut you off. The Scientologist thing I don't understand yet because that has not been disclosed yet. The Danny Masterson thing, she has openly said, whether truth or not, I don't know. But she has stated that when she went to the prelims and everything came out that she didn't know about, she just backed away and has not had contact with him since and not supported him since. And she sympathizes with the victims and all that. Mind you, easy to save face on the internet. You're not live speaking. We're reading a text.
Yeah.
But I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt on that situation. When it comes to the Scientologist thing, I don't understand enough about it yet. I will get there, but I don't understand enough about even just that in general, other than that they discredit mental health.
It's pyramid scheming.
I mean, everybody still loves Brad Pitt.
Like, I mean, I don't really care for Brad Pitt, or Tom Cruise.
That's who it is. Tom Cruise, not Brad Pitt. Sorry. They all look the same. They're a bunch of white dudes that are old and, anyways.
The Scientology thing for me was like a huge no. Like, that feels sticky, that feels icky, that feels gross. But like, of course, there's some people who don't know a lot about it. I, like, being a person, like, I've watched a lot of the documentaries and stuff on Scientology, especially like the ones that Leah Remini has been a part of. And she's been very outspoken about the community. And
Okay, so I'll ask it this way, because I understand what you're saying. But let's put the political and whatever else aside. Not excusing any of it by any means. Let me disclaimer that. But let's put that aside. How do you feel with the direction they're going?
I'm optimistic. No feelings one way or the other. I'm very optimistic. I'm willing to give almost anything and everything a chance. I like I said, I like her sound for the most part. Getting a new drummer, like, it happens. Getting a new guitarist, it happens. Like, no one really pitched a fit too much, like, with the various different musicians that Panic at the Disco has gone through. Like,
I mean,
no one's really.
My biggest example right now in this conversation is no one, and I mean no one, put up anywhere near this much drama and fight when Adam Lambert joined Queen. There is no voice like Freddie's, and Adam Lambert took that spot, and there's not as much backlash as there is with this.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, how, like, at this point, like, it's just Brendan Urie at Panic at the Disco, and then he, like, completely disbanded Panic at the Disco as if Panic at the Disco was a thing. Like, it's just, Brendan Urie and company at this point. Like, and nobody has argued or been too pissy about it. I'm just willing to give everything a chance. And like I said, I'm okay with her sound. So I guess I'll give it a chance, like putting her personal beliefs and issues aside. I do believe to an extent separating the artist from the art.
Yeah, and
To
I
an
think that's what we
extent.
have to do in this situation.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's gonna have their personal feelings with it. You, myself, like we're all gonna feel a certain way, understandably. But as a Linkin Park fan for well over 20 years now, goddamn, it Chester, like I've listened to everything from when, even before Chester to
Yeah.
when Chester, and after, well, now after Chester. People didn't bitch when Chester went and joined Stone Pilots and Mike Shinoda did Fort Minor. Like, there's just a bunch of side projects that these members have done. I understand in some senses, Nirvana never carried on. They just, Dave went and did his own thing. Like, there's going to be those situations, but like, had we been introduced to a male singer with Lincoln, I guarantee you that would have went way more off the rails than it is now.
Oh yeah, it would have went way left. People would have been way more upset. But I look at it like this. Linkin Park is Linkin Park. It wasn't Chester and company. Chester would have wanted them to continue living out their dream because it wasn't just his.
Right.
It's their dream too.
In my opinion, 7 years is a respectable time to start something new. Whether something was happening in the background before, that's none of our business.
Right.
This is when they came back public, 7 years after.
And this is just them getting, it feels, like I said, it feels more like they just went to just get a new vocalist as opposed to trying to replace Chester. When, like, if you look at like what was happening like post Lisa Lopez passing away, it felt like Chili and T-Boz were trying to replace Left Eye rather than just getting another person to join them in TLC. But this feels very different.
Yeah.
It feels very different.
This will be the last thing I say. If you want to say one more thing, that's fine as well. But when it comes to Linkin Park, it's the next evolution, right?
Yeah.
And that's why the new album is called From Zero. They're starting again.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Do you do puzzles?
Do I do puzzles?
Yeah. Like
Not
actual
anymore.
puzzles. Like, not word search and all that. No?
Not in a long time. I color.
You want to drive yourself insane?
Yes.
Go in the WWE shop. I still think they have it. The Universal Championship puzzle. Buy the blue one or the black one. It doesn't matter. It's like 1,000 pieces or 500 pieces, whatever it is, but it'll drive you mad because blue and black is pretty much predominantly the color, and it's annoying.
Right. You don't want me to do that, Shadow.
I do. I think it'd be great content.
I'll be up at 3:00 in the morning knowing that I have to be up at 6 for work. Voice messaging you. Why would you do this to me?
I have
crying.
I have a blue Universal one that hangs on my wall, and it took me almost 3 months to do because it would drive me insane. I could have done it if I would have sat there, but like it was literally to the point it was making me that mad.
See, I have a touch of the tism.
Fair.
And if you let the rest of the Familia tell you, it's more than a touch. And I will hyperfixate on it. I won't get up until I'm done. Like just to give you an example, the Harry Potter series. I read the entire series in about 3 weeks.
That's how long it took me to read The Goblet of Fire.
Yeah, I will hyperfixate on it.
Keep in mind, my attention span to stuff like that isn't where yours would be. My attention span is this, right? Like I'm constantly creative. I'm constantly working on things. Whether they turn out, I don't know. I get mad. I've scrapped whole projects where I'm almost at completion. I was like, and I'll delete it and start right again.
Are you a perfectionist, Shadow?
Not in the full complete word of that, but I would say so to a degree. Yeah.
I'm a perfectionist. My fiance didn't realize how much of a perfectionist that I was until we started the journey of wedding planning.
Okay. Before we get into that story, I have to ask,
Yes.
you don't have to disclose this by any means. I have to ask, how'd you guys meet?
A mutual friend, actually. I was working at Starbucks while I was in college. And
I hate that place with a passion.
I was working at Starbucks, and I worked at Starbucks on and off for about 3 years. And I was working there, and one of my coworkers, she and I became friends. She was the first person when I transferred to that store. She was the first person to speak to me. And we became friends, and she needed somebody to dye her hair one day. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for you. I dye my mom's hair all the time because my mom was one of those people. She hated the sight of a gray. So I'm like, I dye my mom's hair all the time. Like yeah, it did wonders for my self-esteem, Shadow. I started graying when I was 12.
I
The
only just
fact that
recently
she
started graying, so
despises gray hair, it did numbers on my self-esteem as a kid. But I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for you. I'm like, I've done it before. She had recently moved, because her lease was up, and she was debating on whether or not she was going to move to Alaska, with her mom. And her mom is the one who also crochets beanies and stuff for me. And so she was in between the lease, and her friend let her stay with him. At that point where she asked me if I could do her hair for her, I was like fresh out of a relationship. Like the breakup text had barely fully sent. Like fresh out of a relationship. Like I was still like low-key seeing this guy. Like we were still talking. Like we weren't at the I hate you stage part of things yet. And so I'm like, your roommate's not gonna be there, is he? Because I'm not. Kitty, yes, that is Binks. That is. I will tilt it a little bit so you can see how big he is.
First name isn't Jar Jar, right?
No.
Okay.
He
Continue.
is.
Sorry to cut you off. As you've seen Kitty.
That is our 30-pound Bengal ragdoll mix, pure muscle, not an ounce of fat on him. But I'm like, your roommate's not gonna be there, is he? Because like I hate men. I hate men right now. I don't want to look at one. I don't want to talk to one. I don't want to befriend any new ones. And she's like, no, he's not going to be there. So I come over, start mixing the color to do her hair.
Dude comes out of the shower, right?
Walks out. I hear his bedroom door creak. And I immediately like snapped at her. I'm like, I thought you said he wasn't going to be here. Like, and he appears in the doorway. And I'm just like, God. And he looks at her. He's like, I told you I was on vacation this week. And she's like, either I wasn't paying attention, I don't remember, or I wasn't listening. It's one of the three. And he's like, you guys don't have to do that in there, by the way. You're going to die with the chemicals. He's like, you guys can come do it in the living room. And we were we came out to the living room. We casually talked about how we wanted to watch Mean Girls. And he spent about an hour trying to find a stream just for us to watch Mean Girls. And I want to say probably about 2 weeks after that, he sent her a BDSM meme that he did not mean to send to her. He meant to send it to his boys group chat. And she's like, whoa, no. Why is this mentioning a cactus? No. Absolutely not.
I have questions. Continue.
And she's like, I don't like this. I don't like this meme. This is not for me. And he's like, my bad. I wasn't meaning to send it to you in the first place. She's like, but Ebbi would like this meme. Do you want her number? And she's doing all of this while I'm literally sitting across from her, oblivious, just on my phone, doom scrolling. And then I get a text and say, hey, it's Mike, the guy Fiona lives with. She said that you might like this meme and that I should tell you that I think you're cute. I think you're cute. And it's been almost 4 years since we've officially been together. And it was 4 years since the day we met on August 13th.
Wow. And they say shit when you're dead.
Which is coincidentally Banks' birthday. He was born on August 13th. So I would say he was meant to be our baby.
That's some stars aligning shit right there.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. But I still need to know, what about a cactus?
It was this meme. And it was like when he says he bought a new toy.
Oh God, okay, no. we can just leave it
you
there.
See a cactus, and the girl's like, a cactus?
Oh.
But yeah.
My show, my rules.
My
show, my rules. So this joke, because of this, anything can be a dildo if you're brave enough.
Anything can be a dildo if you're brave enough. Anything can be a butt plug if you're brave enough.
Yep. See, this is why you're my people, right here. Because that's me. I will dick around and send those random shit to people.
Oh, yeah.
And now that I know a little bit more that you're into these dark memes, they're coming.
Yes.
All right. So we've talked about a little bit about your life. We've talked about some random adventures you've taken. We've talked about your fiance. Let's talk about what got you joining the Familia. But before we get to that part, let's talk about your love of pro wrestling.
My love for pro wrestling, it actually started as a very deep hatred for pro wrestling.
That's a new one.
The deepest hatred. I have an older sister. I have an older sister. She and I are 10 and a half years apart. So you can imagine when she's like 16, 17, the stuff that she wants to watch on TV is not the stuff that I want to watch on TV. And she'd always come and take the remote and turn on wrestling. And I despised it. I despised it. My sister, she moved out. She went to college when I was about 6.5. And one day I was just flicking through channels. Probably.
So this was 2008?
Yes. My sister moved out in 2008, went to college. And then maybe about 2 years later, one day I was just, no, not even that. A year later, I was just like flicking through channels.
The original Doom Scroll.
The original Doom Scroll. And I remember to the day, it was June 30th, 2009. And I am flicking through the channels and boom, I see this man in the middle of the ring. And it's Sheamus. It's his debut match. It's his debut. And I'm like, ooh, he's pretty.
That definitely brings a whole new definition to Ebony and Ivory.
Oh yeah, like my fiance being like, we did our 23andMe. He's 99.7% Northwestern European. Very much so, Ebony and Ivory going on. But yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, he's pretty. What's this? And I fell in love with wrestling ever since. I took probably about a few years hiatus. I probably watched consistently for probably about a year or two. And then I stopped watching it. And then one day, the original doom scrolling again. And I talked about this actually in Richie Mars's podcast. And I see Nikki Bella in the ring, and no, that's how I know you didn't watch the episode, my episode with Richie, because it's all about the Bellas.
I don't do anything Bellas, but continue.
And then Stephanie McMahon's music hits, and she comes out, and Brie is in the seat behind the barricade, and she's like, "Oh, look, Brie, the quitter Bella twin." And I got hooked again. And then I want to say probably around age like 17, 18-ish, I took another like hiatus. I stopped watching it again. And then my now fiance, I was I was bored. So I'm like, I'm gonna put on something like for something that's comfortable, that's familiar, noise in the background while I'm playing games on my phone. And I put on the Royal Rumble. I put on old Royal Rumble, and he was very interested and intrigued because he very briefly watched wrestling a bit here and there as a kid. And it's been me and him. We have not missed a single PLE since.
That's crazy. I get that. I do.
Yeah, not missed a single PLE since.
That's a wild journey, but like I'll tell you why I don't like the Bellas. I did. I was very I was into what they did. No, I'm not one of those guys that, oh, she looks hot. No. I was actually impressed with what they could do.
Yeah.
Then I watched Total Bellas of season 1 and 2. And I'm like, nope. That turned me off completely.
I just said it in the group chat not too long ago. I was like, I love Nikki Bella, but me and Stephanie Garcia have beef. After watching Total Divas and Total Bellas, me and Stephanie Garcia have beef. Like, but I enjoy the Bellas' growth. Seeing how they started compared to how they ended their career when they formally retired, there's monumental growth.
Oh,
not just in character building, but in ring technical ability. There's so much growth. And a lot of people like they credit AJ Lee with the Divas Revolution in wrestling, and or Paige and Emma. And I felt like it was very much so a joint effort between the three of them, but also the Bellas. Like, we have to remember where the Give Divas a Chance hashtag started. It was because Nikki and Brie and Paige, now Saraya, and Emma, they were told, like, hey, you need to cut this down to like a 2-minute match, bro.
Yeah.
And they went out, a quick finisher, and that was it. And I feel like that was the moment things really picked up. That was the moment things got really serious, about people taking women's wrestling seriously. Even though like we were kind of on the bandwagon before, like that was a huge defining moment in why women's wrestling looks how it looks today.
100%. Like, I credit, don't get me wrong, those women that you've mentioned, 100% influential into where the product is today.
Absolutely.
I believe in the monumental growth. 100%. They're talented women. Not taking anything away from them. The one thing I do wish I could take away from them, and you're probably not going to like this, is that Hall of Fame. At least where it happened. It didn't need to be as soon as it happened. There is a lot of women that blazed a trail long before them. Maybe not in the much of the influence leading up today's world, wrestling, but like
Mhm.
there is still a lot of women that have deserved that spot way before they did, and they're not recognized.
I can understand that. But at the same time, I would argue that they deserved it when they deserved it because of the impact that Total Divas and Total Bellas had.
That's fair.
They brought an entirely different fan base into the professional wrestling universe. And that's not something that, not even just a lot of women in the business, that's not something a lot of wrestlers in general in the business can say that they have done. They have opened the wrestling universe to a completely, totally different fan base. And
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul, yeah.
See?
I hate that he's so good. I hate that he's so good.
He does a better buckshot lariat than Hangman does.
It
That's
makes me
Hangman's
so
thing.
upset. It makes me so upset that he's so good. And I don't like him. And I really don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like his brother.
No, his
And
brother's gross.
you know the hatred burns deep. Because I'm a Cleveland girl. Like, these are my hometown people. I can't stand the Paul brothers.
See
I
at the
hate
grocery store. You know what? Boom.
I hate that they even claim Cleveland. For everyone who watches this, okay? Okay, the Paul brothers are not from Cleveland. They are from Westlake. It is literally the last city before you enter a different county from Cleveland. They don't know what the Cleveland struggle is. They grew up in a little mini mansion. Okay. They had quality education. They don't know what Cleveland struggle is. They probably can't even tell you where 55th and Prospect is. And there's no real Clevelander who can't tell you where 55th and Prospect is, how to get there from any other point in the city. No.
See, that's my argument. See, your argument with the Paul brothers is my argument with Drake.
No BBL Drizzy?
I grew up in Toronto. This man saying he started from the bottom, false.
Yeah,
I know people that went to school with him, legitimately went to school with him.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's a lie. He had an in-ground pool growing up. He was like this and like that. And I'm like, yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, like MGK can rep Cleveland. That's fine.
Well,
Like,
fuck that guy too. Well, but that's another story.
I don't care for
He
Colson.
ruined Megan Fox. I said what I said.
I don't really vibe with Colson myself. My sister actually is college friends with his daughter's mom. And so no, he's a no for me.
MGK is the epitome of a white person bringing potato salad to a cookout. You're welcome for that image.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Right. Anyways, on that note, let's get into it. Where, how, when did you come in contact with Familia? Where'd you go? How'd you get here?
So when I first started making TikTok content, it had like nothing to do with wrestling. I might like shoot out an occasional video here that has something to do with wrestling, but it wasn't anything like consistent. And then somehow along the way, Mother Ray and I became mutuals. And I started seeing her content. So I started making a little bit more wrestling content. And then through her, Chrissy Tina. We all love Chrissy. She's the leader of the Familia. She she was also mutuals with Ray, and she happened upon, we had liked each other's videos back and forth, not really conversated much, might have shot each other like a funny TikTok here, a funny TikTok there, nothing crazy. And then I made a TikTok about like the struggles of having PCOS. For those who don't know what it is, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. And she sent my video. Chrissy sent my video to me with this long message about like how she appreciated how brave I was for talking about it, because a lot of people don't talk about it. A lot of people don't share their struggles. A lot of people aren't willing to share the ugliest of the ugly when it comes to dealing with the condition, and how she appreciated me, and I now occupy like a piece of her heart because she feels comfortable and I made her feel heard. We sent messages sporadically back and forth after that point. And then one day I just get plopped into a group chat. No warning, no questions, no nothing. And then she starts texting in the group chat about what it's about. At this point, I believe it was me, Chrissy, Pat the Wise Man, Pro Wrestling Wizard Just Doug, BC, Richie Mars, and Hot Take Wrestling Joe. And she explained to me what was going on and how she really wanted me to be a part of it. She wasn't asking me. She was telling me that that's what I was doing. And I'm just like, okay. All right, cool. And it's been me and them ever since. I have such a deep, profound love for that group of people.
Yeah, great group of people. I love the content you guys put out.
Chrissy and Michaela and Shayna are bridesmaids in my wedding. Like, such a very deep, profound love for them. They are how I start my day.
I love that.
They are how I end my day. And each of them, from Chrissy to Shayna to Pat to Richie to Brian, like each of them occupies like a little small piece in my heart. Like, I have nicknames for all of them. I have nicknames for every single one of them. Michaela and I hit it off immediately. Like, I just randomly started calling her bestie in one of our lives one day, and we've literally been best friends ever since. I talk to this girl every day, minimum 2-hour phone conversations. Like, they really hold like the biggest piece of my heart, and I honestly don't know what I would have done like the past 6 months without them. Like, they are amazing, and I'm really excited to see what we all accomplish together.
Excuse me. I've been watching some of this journey. I don't get out watching a lot of content as much as I should. Busy life, father of 4, don't have that much free time. But I do catch. I like to draw inspiration from different places. And I've seen some of Richie's work. I've seen some of the stuff that Chrissy talks about. Haven't seen much of like you, because I've kind of not been on TikTok a lot lately, so I'm not seeing a lot of the content. But like, just listening is just like, it's interesting listening to different takes. Obviously, Pat and me are good friends, and I draw a lot of stuff from him, throwing back and forth from back in the day. But like, BC with his creative stuff going through your merch shop, like, you guys are you're on a roll, and I can't wait to see where this goes. Because, like, in a weird sense, it's inspirational. I don't mean in a weird sense, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm finding inspiration in the community, and you guys are good people.
Yeah. I enjoy our different dynamics. And I think that's like the coolest part to us. Like, Pat and I banter back and forth all the time. Like, he's like my little nemesis in the group.
Y'all bully
Like,
Richie. I've seen it.
oh my God, we do not bully Richie.
You do.
I love Richie. You want to know something, Shadow? I tell Richie Mars that I love him every single day.
You still bully the man.
I do not.
My children
Richie,
bully me, and then they tell me they love me. It doesn't mean they don't bully me.
Richie is almost like an exact replica, like, of my fiance. Like, when I tell you, like, they have the same soul, they have the same demeanor, like how they approach things, how they talk, it's identical. Like, I love Richie Mars to pieces. And I, like, one of the first, like, really hardcore interactions that I had, like, with Hot Take Joe is, like, us, like, bantering back and forth, because I'm, like, a couple years older than his daughter. So he's, like, trolling me. He's trolling me. I asked him, like, I remember, like, we were going back and forth, like, I asked him, like, did the CNA come by and, like, change his diaper yet? Is that why he was cranky? And
AARP check coming in.
he's like, oh, it seems like you're really grumpy, Ebbi. Did you not get, your goldfish and Capri Suns yet? Did you not get your juice box yet today? Like,
that's where the joke come from. Got it.
Hilarious, like, banter back and forth. And I'm pretty sure if you've seen any, like, most people who have seen, who are regulars in our lives, y'all know that me and Patrick will find anything to argue about. Anything to argue about. Love him to pieces. Good at that, though. Richie, I call him my biffle. He started calling me his biffle first, and it's his best friend for life. And I adore Richie and Brian. Brian is like that big brother that I never had, because I only have an older sister. And Chrissy, I call Chrissy, she's my soul twin. She, like, we have the same soul. We have the same spirit. We like all of the same things. We were on a group call one day. It was me, Chrissy, and Michaela. And it's weird. Our lives, like, although, like, we're different ages, our lives, like, line up. It's weird. We've been through a lot of the exact same things at the exact same ages. And even, like, with Bianca, like, she doesn't, we're teaching her wrestling, and just seeing things through her point of view. She's hilarious. She and I had, like, an hour-long conversation about astrology in the group chat one day. Like, we all have very different dynamics. I love seeing Doug and Richie together. For anybody who is not tuned into their lives on Fridays during SmackDown, they are hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. And it's literally one of the most entertaining things that I've ever watched, seeing them interact together. And we're just all so different. And we're from all over the country. Like, there's I think we have 2 people in New Jersey, 2 people in New York, 1 person in Maryland. I'm in Ohio, 1 person in Illinois, 1 person in Texas, 1 person in California. Like, and just to see us all come together and really, like we genuinely love on each other, and we genuinely support each other above everything.
I definitely understand that. That's how Rivet City kind of flows, right? Yeah, I'm up here in Canada, then we got New York, then we got Pennsylvania, then we got Nevada, Tennessee, Florida. Like, we go all over. So it's awesome, and I love that. Oh, that kind of hits right in the heart a little bit. Like, just listening to that and listening to, it's not very often you catch a genuine emotion when someone talks about people, but listening to you talk about them, I feel that it's not just a I actually feel what you're saying. which is really inspirational in that sense, because it's hard to find those genuine friends, especially in today's world.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy you have that.
It's like I said, I really don't know what I would have done like the past 6 months without them. Life has been a roller coaster. From just I remember like my uncle that I was very, very close to. Like he passed away the day before my birthday this year. And when I tell you, like, they were more supportive, they were more there, more present, more consistent than people that I have known for well over a decade now.
That's crazy.
They were there. There was always someone up ready to talk to me. Like even like people in like Familia members, there's some of them who also had family members pass away very recently. Yet they were still there. They stopped everything. And that's what we all do for each other. Like it doesn't matter what's going on. Like the other day, it was literally day before yesterday, I was in the group chat and I was upset because my dad doesn't like how I'm doing things with my wedding planning. He wants what he wants, and that's kind of how parents get sometimes. And I was upset, and one of the members of the Familia, they were just having a day, and they're like, I'm gonna crawl out of my depression hole just to tell you, your dad will get over it. Fuck what he thinks. It's your day. You're going to be loved regardless. Just do what you feel is right and is going to make you feel special. And that immediately just like it lifted my spirits. Like immediately.
That's awesome.
They're just there.
I love that. I get that too, because I can relate. I have really, without going into detail, don't talk to much of my family, including my immediate family. And the boys at Rivet City and Miss Al, they are very much involved in what my children's lives are on a weekly basis. They ask about how they are, what they're doing, what they're up to, and it means the world to me. So I completely, wholeheartedly understand.
Oh yeah. Even with Michaela, like just like you said, Michaela, she has little ones. And I ask her all the time, I'm like, how are my kids? How are my kids? What are my kids doing? And she'll call one of them. She's like, do you want to talk to your TT? Because she keeps asking me about you. Do you want to talk to your TT? Here, take the phone.
That's great. Alrighty. That's I think I'm going to save some of this conversation for a next tea session with a part 2 coming down the road. So please, by all means, plug everything you want to plug now.
Oh, okay. So I am 216 BeanieeBaii. It's spelled with a B. Oh, you fixed it. Oh, that's so sweet. I love how you called me out first, then you fixed.
Listen, that's producer Scows. That is not me.
I am 216 BeanieeBaii here on TikTok and on Instagram. You can find my personal accounts. It is at Ebbi.allaligned. To play on things, my middle name is Alina. It's like so ass backwards. It's so ghetto, and I never let my parents live it down.
You're like, I'm never naming my kids this way. That's not happening.
No. It's Angela backwards because my dad's mother's name is Angela. So Alina is Angela backwards. And I have 2 middle names. So the first one is Alina, and the second one is J'adore, and J'adore is I love in French. So backwards, my name says I love Angela. And it's so ghetto. It's so backwards. They should have never done that. People, never do that to your child. And yeah, from there, you should be able to find all of my social medias, my personal ones. I have an episode with Richie Mars on Wrestling Retold and Relived with Richie Mars, and we talk about the Bella twins. He's great. Richie's great to talk to. He's amazing. One half, they call us, the rest of the Familia calls us the Terror Twitches. Me and Michaela, it's a play on the Terror Twins. And the movie Twitches with Tia and Tamara. They call us the Terror Twitches. We have an upcoming podcast that we are starting. It is called You're Gonna Want to Sit Down for This. Because we figured we sit on the phone for hours and talk and talk and talk. And one day we had another Familia member, Michaela's boyfriend, Pro Wrestling Wizard Doug, and he was on the three-way call with us, and he's like cackling at just her and I's banter back and forth. We're just talking, we're having casual conversation, and I'm like, we need to do something with this. So that will be coming soon, very, very soon. And follow the Familia pages on Facebook and X, formerly Twitter, Threads, and TikTok. And I think that's about it. I think that's all I got for you.
Well, with that being said, I thank you for your time. It's been a wonderful conversation. You had said to me before, I don't think I'm interesting. I think we learned a lot, and I'm very interested. And I appreciate your time. And yes, I called you out for saying you weren't interesting because I found you very interesting and very lovely to chat with.
I think I'm interesting, but I will take your word for it. I'm also terrible at taking compliments. I get dragged by Chrissy in the group chat every day for being terrible at taking compliments.
So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Spotlight with Shadow. Peace.